Hi, everyone, I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Case.
Ready to take your place?
I hope you die in prison as well.
First up, we go to a sentencing in Cleveland, Ohio. The defendant is pled guilty to felonious assault on a peace officer and failure to comply with orders. 6 months earlier, a state trooper attempted to pull over this vehicle for illegal window tinting and a fake registration, but the driver refused to stop. It's 6 o'clock on a Friday evening, a busy time for commuters. After a few minutes, the driver pulls over. Then speeds away. The driver accelerates, weaving through traffic, and reaches a top speed of 90 miles an hour. After nearly 10 minutes, a second trooper pulls up next to the driver. A third enters from the right. It looks like this chase may be coming to an end. The driver swerves, accelerates, and brakes, trying to find a way around the police vehicles that are closing in. Finally, the driver's boxed in and comes to a stop. With guns drawn, officers surround the vehicle. The driver comes within inches of hitting an officer and takes off again, hitting two police cruisers along the way. The freeway, so the driver heads for residential streets.
We are eastbound on Grand on the 55th. Traffic is moderate, going through red light, slow through it.
The driver blows through stop signs. And multiple traffic lights, showing no sign of stopping.
Speeds around 55, 60 miles an hour.
Another cruiser enters the picture. It's right on the driver's tail when the officer executes a pit maneuver, hitting the driver from the rear, and yet the driver still refuses to stop.
No contact with me. Vehicle not stopping. Continuing southbound.
After a few more blocks, the large cruiser returns and sends the driver into a telephone pole. After 25 minutes and 18 miles, the driver is apprehended. It's 23-year-old Imani Edwards. Edwards initially pled not guilty to felonious assault on a peace officer and failure to comply with order. But in hopes of receiving a reduced sentence, she later changed. plea to guilty. The prosecutor's asking that Judge Michael Shaughnessy send the defendant to prison, but her attorney argues against it, pointing to her clean record. He also contradicts Edwards' claim that she was on her way to work that day and offers another explanation for his client's behavior.
She wasn't running from the police because she was wanted. She was running from the police because she's a person who has a significant mental health history. The reality here is that no police officer was injured. She doesn't want to go to prison. She's afraid of going to prison, and are hoping that you don't send her to prison. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Edwards, you're not required to address the court, but if you wish, you may.
That's not what I feel about it as to the officers whose lives that I put in harm's way.
The only person left.
You do suffer from a mental illness, but your conduct on that day stuns this court. I don't know what you were thinking, but I will say this. But that's one of the most egregious videos I've seen. All right, you're in.
The judge sentences Edwards to 4 years and 9 months in prison. Her driver's license will also be suspended for 15 years. And for the damage she caused, she's ordered to pay $26,000 in restitution.
Basically, she comes and goes when she feels like it, is what it sounds like.
Next, we head into the archives for a 2010 probation hearing in Beverly Hills, California. The defendant is Hollywood actress Lindsay Lohan. Lohan's on probation for 2 separate DUIs, a reckless driving charge, and possession of cocaine. As part of her probation, Lohan was ordered to attend weekly drug and alcohol meetings, which she often missed due to her busy work schedule.
I don't want to get any more notices from the program that you may be in violation.
The judge increased Lohan's probation from 3 to 4 years and made it crystal clear the meetings are mandatory.
I am going to extend probation for 1 year, and I want you to make sure you give this a priority and get it done. This could have been done a long time ago, and this is the last time we're going to be talking about re-enrolling and doing what you need to do. This is it.
But after the hearing, Lohan went on to miss a total of 9 more sessions. Judge Ravel is not happy. The actress is ordered back into court.
Basically, she comes and goes when she feels like it, is what it sounds like. There's been a history of this ongoing. I made it very clear, once a week. I didn't say 2 or 3 times a week, and there would be no excuses. She had to go once a week.
Lohan is allowed to speak on her behalf.
I know that I was ordered to go once a week, and it wasn't, I wasn't missing the classes, just hang out or do anything like that. I was working mostly in Morocco, the trip. I was working with children. It wasn't a vacation. It wasn't some sort of a joke. And I respect her work. I've been taking it seriously.
She struggles to keep it together.
And I appreciate that Right On Programs has done so much to help me finish early. Because I wanted to make sure that I would come back here making you happy and the court system and show that I meant everything I put into it.
The judge seems unmoved by Lohan's tears and sends her a wake-up call.
On a reckless driving case, 30 days in jail on the first DUI case consecutive, and 30 days in jail on the second DUI case consecutive. That's 90 days in jail.
Lohan is clearly devastated by the sentence.
The court is also going to order a 90-day inpatient substance abuse program. Do you understand and accept the terms and conditions of your probation?
Yes.
2 weeks later, Lohan surrenders to the court to begin her sentence. Her time inside, however, was cut short due to overcrowding at the facility. It was not uncommon at the time for jail overcrowding to lead to significantly shortened jail terms. Checks herself into a rehab center. She leaves after 23 days, but will spend the next few years between court and rehab in a continued effort to stay clean. Next, we're in Chicago, Illinois, at the George N. Layton Criminal Court Building. Here, Judge Jackie Portman Brown usually deals with hardened criminals, but today she's new challenge. A relative's first-grade daughter. After being suspended twice from school for bad behavior, the child's mother brought her to Portman Brown's courtroom for the old scared straight treatment. After getting a talking to, the pint-sized offender can be seen being dragged through a courtroom office by her mother and Judge Portman Brown. Later, another camera captures the judge walking the girl into a holding cell for what one might call hard time out. About a minute later, the girl comes back on camera and appears to talk with the deputy on watch. Then after a few more minutes, her mom stops by to check on her. And finally, after about 10 minutes in lockup, a deputy delivers her back to her mother. The scare tactic reportedly worked. According to her mother, her daughter started doing better in school following her court visit. But Judge Portman Brown and two of her deputies would later come under fire after the video was made public. Following an investigation, Portman Brown was reassigned to administrative duty, and the two sheriff's officers who aided her were dedeputized, despite the girl's mother taking full responsibility for orchestrating what she called a life lesson, lose or retention bid for the seat.
Will you produce the document that has my signature that gives you jurisdiction? Will you produce that?
We're in Concord, New Hampshire, and the man bellowing at the judge is 85-year-old State Representative Marple. A year earlier, the New Hampshire lawmaker was charged with driving after having his license suspended.
Please rise. Congress report is now in session.
Today is the first day of trial, but this simple suspended license case might not be so simple after all.
State versus Ed Marple.
You might notice Marple is not at the defense table, and that's because as a sovereign citizen, he does not believe the court or Judge Chris Spath have jurisdiction over him.
Madam Magistrate.
Yes.
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion. I'm not here because of an order. Because you as a magistrate cannot make an order. You can only administer ministerial duties. You have no jurisdiction to judge your own jurisdiction.
Judge Spath then calmly explains the legal steps Marple can take to contest her jurisdiction after the trial is complete.
You will have an absolute right to appeal my decision.
You have no decision because you don't have any jurisdiction. You come out with what's called an order. You can't take an order because you're not a judge.
Well, Mr.
You
Marple,
are acting in an administrative capacity.
I continue to disagree with you.
And that question is the question of the law. You either obey the law or you are in violation of your oath of office.
After taking a couple of personal shots on the chin, Judge Spath once again tries to restore decorum in the courtroom.
I have two requests. One is that when I wish to speak, that you give me that courtesy. And when you wish to speak, I will do the same. As long as we continue to be discussing what is relevant to today's case.
There is no relevance to today's case because you don't have jurisdiction.
Not only does Marple argue the court lacks jurisdiction, but he also claims the state has no authority to police his driving in the first place.
Article 382A, 9-109, defines the automobile as consumer goods. Consumer goods do not have to be registered. Consumer goods do not have to have a, quote, license, unquote, in order to travel.
And speaking of driver's licenses, Marple doesn't believe in those either.
It's not a license. It is a photo ID that I purchased.
Still, Marple wants his back in his wallet.
That's conversion. That is conversion. Total conversion.
And finally, the state representative lays it all on the line.
Are you going to recuse yourself? I ask you that.
I am not going to
You're not going to recuse yourself.
I do not believe there is any valid reason for me to recuse myself. I believe that I have been fair and impartial. I will continue to be fair and impartial. you know that the trial is going to occur today. I would urge you to participate in the trial.
I'm not participating in something that tonight is a total fraud.
The trial would proceed, but after he continues to disrupt the proceedings,
The principle is the people that I represent are being ripped off. That's what it's all about. And if you're going to continue with this, you will be paid for that, I assure you.
Judge Spaff simply walks out of the courtroom. State Representative Dick Marple would ultimately receive a judgment of guilt through the mail and was ordered to pay a $310 fine for driving with a suspended license. Next, we're in Centerville, Michigan for a Zoom court hearing. Judge Jeffrey Middleton has many people to hear from today, including Nathaniel Saxon, who's appearing on a drug paraphernalia charge. 2 weeks earlier, police found a syringe containing methamphetamine residue in Saxon's truck during a traffic stop. Saxon's facing a possible 90 days in jail and a $500 fine. And he's not exactly getting off on the right foot with the judge.
Then we'll bring this fool in.
From the moment Saxon logged in, the judge noticed something he didn't particularly care for. The obscene screen name.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Nathaniel Saxon, sir.
Your name's not Buttfucker 3000, you yo-ho. Logging into my court with that as your screen name? What kind of idiot logs into court like that?
Saxon looks confused and horrified.
What's your name again?
Nathaniel Saxon, sir, but I don't believe that I typed anything like that in.
Well, that's what it says.
Saxon quickly fixes his name, but not soon enough to avoid a reprimand from the judge.
I'll put you in the waiting room. You can sit in limbo for a while and think about what you call yourself online.
Bottom of the screen name mystery.
Your Honor?
Yes?
If I may explain, my sister was one that set up my Zoom account or whatever. That Butt Effer is my iPhone pairing name for my Bluetooth speaker, sir. It's an inside joke. It's not what you think. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry.
Well, you should be. All right, we'll come back to you in a bit.
20 minutes later, Saxon pled guilty to possession of drug paraphernalia and agreed to pay a $200 fine. Judge Middleton told him he was lucky to have escaped the day's events without a contempt of court charge for that screen name.
Your name's not Buttfucker 3000, you yo-ho.
That's it for this edition of Court Cam. I'm Dan Abrams. Thanks for watching.